you should be able to keep some of the stuff that you've heard, just because the universes would be interoperable. That's really what we are trying to achieve, and we think that it makes more sense because overall, it's also a race to build the biggest audiences. If we do it like this, I think we have a better chance of reaching big numbers quickly, rather than if we try to have our own experience, a closed system, which is always, more difficult to operate.
So welcome to a new episode of Bitcoin Equity Talks. Today I have with me Frédéric Chesnais, who's the CEO of Crypto Blockchain Industries. Can you please present yourself and your company?
Sure. Thanks for having me. Good afternoon to everyone. So I am Frédéric Chesnais. Initially, I am more an investor. I started to invest in video games in the mid-90s. I joined a video game company early 2000. We bought the Atari brand from Hasbro. We named our company Atari. We all left in 2007. I stayed in New York City. This is where I was based. And I kept doing video games, basically creating companies and investing in games. I was able to buy back Atari in 2013. I was able to reboot the company. I sold my stake in 2021, and I created Crypto Blockchain Industries, CBI, because I wanted to basically devote all my attention and resources to virtual worlds.
I find it quite interesting, the fact that you worked and you owned Atari, which is like an emblematic gaming company and quite old style, I would say. So how did you make this huge switch from going to very old and ancient or initial parts of video gaming to the other extreme, which is video gaming in the metaverse, I would say?
In fact, when I came back to Atari, when I bought it for the second time, so to say, it was very difficult at that time to play a big role in video games because in the 2013, 15, you had like big games already out there. For instance, at Atari, early 2000, we had, if I remember, 5 or 6 racing games. And if you project yourself in 2014, 2015, it was just impossible basically to do a racing game. The bar was so high that it would require a lot of money. And even today, only a few studios, a few publishers are able to do a racing game. So in fact, when I rebooted Atari from 2013 to 2021, I really tried to go with like basically the pop culture side of the brand, creating the Atari hotels. We generated revenue for the group, approximately $3 million in license fees. We also created some experience on the blockchain. I was able to be one of the first buyers of land in the sandbox, for instance. With Atari, we had like a significant number of plots of land. So I have tried, while rebooting Atari, to be at the forefront of new experiences. So it was very natural for me when I left Atari just to keep rolling and to keep working in that direction. We were not trying to do at the time. The strategy has changed, right, since then. But at the time, I was not trying to do retro gaming because it's a very difficult business. There's lots of opportunities, yes, but also quite challenging environment. So it was easier for me to play the pop culture / the Web 3.0 aspect of the brand. And it was very natural for me even to do these worlds and to create CBI.
Okay, so already at Atari, you were already experiencing on the blockchain, in the metaverse, and virtual video gaming. So what were your plans and how did they evolve since you created Crypto Blockchain Industries, and what's the game plan?
So yeah, the big difference is that at Atari at the time, we were acting as a licensor, basically licensing the brand to partners, right? To do some experience, to deliver some experiences on the blockchain. So here with the Crypto Blockchain Industries, I wanted to be in charge. So what we're doing is, it's a big project, but it can be quite easily explained. We are creating Alphaverse, which is a virtual world. So for me, it's my 4th virtual world. I've done zombie games. I've done games with Roller Coaster Tycoon. So I know I know a little bit of this virtual world. So here we're creating this virtual world called Alphaverse, and this is basically an entry point into every virtual world slash metaverse that can exist. So Alphaverse, Alpha for number one in Greek. So it's an island, a hub. We call it a hub, a place from where you can basically join, you can connect other universes. So when you join the hub of Alphaverse, you have the best of all the experiences. So you have a district about art, a district about music, a district about video games, a district about sports, about football. And then from this hub, you can connect many universes which offer a more immersive, a more detailed experience. So you have an island about football, you have an island, a universe about roller coaster games. Every time, so from the hub, you can connect to a specific universe just to enjoy a more immersive experience. The good thing about this is, and why we did it like this, is that we didn't want to take a decision as to the look and feel of the game. What will the virtual world slash metaverse be in the next 10 years? We know also, based on our experience of video games, we know that there are trends in video games. For a few years it's Fortnite, and then for another few years, or before that, it's going to be Call of Duty, and then it's going to be another type of game. So I believe that players want to have some diversity in terms of experiences. So having different universes allows us to basically offer different look and feel, different styles of video games, which you can't do if you only have one world. And so that's really the beauty of having these connections between the hub and the different universes. And finally, the other advantage, and that's really the DNA of the project, is that we are able to connect some third-party universes. So it's not only our expertise, it's not only what we deliver, it's also what we can find with partners. I was talking about racing games a few minutes ago. Today we have no plan to develop a racing game on the blockchain. Having said that, there are some studios who have the expertise, and they are developing games on the blockchain. So I think part of our DNA is also to connect these third-party universes, to connect these projects which are developed by other people, and basically have a deal, a revenue share, whatever the deal is. But with this system of the hub, and then being able to plug different universes to the hub, we can also move faster. We can have access to certain types of games that we would never be able to deliver by ourselves. So it's really flexible, and that's really the DNA of the project.
So just for me to understand, because I'm not an expert gamer, but I know just a little bit for having played myself a little bit and seeing my son playing. What you're saying is that people, for example, that are playing FIFA will be able to play it ideally once you have developed the right partnership with them to connect on the metaverse, on your Alphaverse, basically, and therefore their user experience is enhanced. But how is it enhanced compared to just playing, remaining in the universe of the game itself?
So, okay, I'm not saying that we have a deal with FIFA, right? Just to make it clear.
Yeah, I
But
just gave it an example.
no, but if you take, let's say, a universe like Cornucopias, this is a universe with which we have a deal. So when you join the Alphaverse, you can easily connect from our main island, the hub, to, let's say, the roller coaster game that we have, the football universe that we have. And Cornucopias will also be connected to our universe. So you will be able to very easily move from our hub also to Cornucopia. So it becomes a destination. It is integrated. Just think about a dish TV, right? So satellite TV channel system. You see like maybe thousands of channels on the system. Some of the channels, and for you, you don't see the difference. You just watch a given channel. So the idea here is that for us, it's also like, think about the Alphaverse as a system with a lot of channels. you can easily switch from one channel to another, except that some of the channels are developed by us, some of the channels are developed and operated by third parties, but for you it's neutral. You can definitely move easily switch from one channel to another. If you try to switch from Netflix to Amazon, you will have to basically exit Netflix and then launch Amazon, enter your password, and blah blah blah. So you're in a different environment. You know that these are two different applications. So what we're trying to do with this interconnection is basically to have one-stop shop. You can move easily from one universe to another. You have rewards that are shared between these universes. If you earn something in Alphaverse and if you play cornucopias, you should be able to keep some of the stuff that you've heard just because the universes would be interoperable. That's really what we are trying to achieve. And we think that it makes more sense because overall, it's also a race to build the biggest audiences. If we do it like this, I think we have a better chance of reaching big numbers quickly rather than if we try to have our own experience, a closed system, which is always, more difficult to operate.
Okay, so I get it. So it's like a kind of unique platform where you can have all these games and you can switch from one gate to the other while taking with you all the credits, the tokens, etc., that you have won from one game to the other. Perhaps
Yes.
if you're missing some stuff to buy an armor in one game, you can go and win it in another game and then take it to this game. And
Yeah,
okay,
exactly.
so you mentioned Netflix, but I was checking a couple of days ago. Netflix has started like some mini games on their platform. Do you see them as competitors or potential competitors?
So yes and no. So no, because they don't do metaverses, they don't do virtual worlds, right? Yes, in the sense that even if what they are trying is just starting with some mini games, every application that basically takes some of the time of our customers is a competitor, right? I mean, talking about interactive entertainment. So yes, Facebook is a competitor because the time you spend in Facebook is not a Meta, is not time you spend with us. Google is a competitor. So at the end of the day, you see, it's only 24/7. So everyone is fighting for the time that people have to allocate to online entertainment. So good thing for everyone, that time is getting, bigger and bigger. People are spending more and more time online, watching or in the entertainment space, so to say. At the same time, you have more and more applications. So it's just a question of finding the right experience to deliver. But yes, everyone is a competitor. We see that very broadly. Games, TV, other applications. Everyone is a competitor. Yes.
Yeah, one point you mentioned I want to dig further into is the metaverse element. So, what does the metaverse adds, I would say, to the player's experience that you don't have on a traditional playing platform that is in the real verse, I would say?
Yeah. Yeah. It's at the end of the day, because it's quite a complex situation, you have to simplify. First, virtual worlds. I mean, this is not new. Okay, Second Life, for instance, has been here for the last 20 years because it was launched in 2003. So a virtual world is nothing new. Okay, you've had a lot of online video games with virtual worlds, persistent worlds. So this is not new. What is new with the metaverse is that on top of the virtual world, there is a blockchain layer. And some transactions, some things are happening on that blockchain layer, and this is what makes the difference. Let me give you a couple of examples. If you play a video game today, if you find something of interest in the game, like a sword, for instance, some magic spell, whatever it is, it's yours, but it's very difficult to resell it. If you buy, except if the publisher allows you to resell it inside the game, you can't resell it by yourself with a direct transaction with somebody else. You have to go through the game, through the publisher, through Apple, the App Store, Google Play, and all these guys, and it's very difficult, and every time you lose 30%. So if you buy, let's say, a jersey in a game, if you buy an apparel, you can only use it in that game. You cannot use it in any other game. With the Metaverse, if you buy a digital jersey, and if that jersey is on the blockchain, so basically you have the blockchain, the virtual world, and then on top of it you have the blockchain layer. With the blockchain, you can create a lot of transactions on unique items in this world, and these items, you can basically, they are yours. You can trade them directly with other players, and you can use them in other worlds or in other experiences. So here I'm taking the example of a game, a video game. So I think it's easy to understand that, let's say I buy a jersey or I buy an apparel in a certain game, which is like a limited edition of a T-shirt, for instance. It's mine, and I can use it in other games. So it's very important, meaning you can travel across the different metaverses, and you keep what you have earned in one metaverse. So that's one thing. The second thing is, because you may say, you know what, these are video games, I don't care, I don't play, it has no value, this is just a very stupid example. Okay, fine. If you take, for example, now the photographies, right? The ownership of a photo back in the day and until very recent days was the physical ownership. If you had the physical photo, it was yours. Today, we all know that if you have a digital photo, it proves that you own the photo because the photo is numbered. The files are just very clearly identified. So you can prove that you own the photo because you own the digital form of the photo. If you take another example, if you take a ticket, if you go today, if you try to enter a stadium, we all know that if you show up with some paper, it will be more difficult to enter the stadium. But if you have something on your app, something on your phone with some QR code. So what I'm trying to say is that the digital ownership today, and more, has become the proof of ownership in the real world. If you own the digital form of the asset, of the photo, if you own the master file of the song, if you own the digital ticket on your phone, it is yours. And we rely less and less on the physical possession of the item. So this is where, for the metaverses, it's very important because it means that if you own something, let's say you buy a song, you buy a photo, you buy a digital asset in a metaverse, it's yours, you can keep it, you can walk away from that metaverse, owning that digital file, and this is yours, and no one can take it from you, and you know exactly how many there are in the world, you know where they are, and they cannot be breached. The protocol is unbreachable, so no one can hack into your assets. It's really yours. So this is where, back to your question, what is the blockchain bringing? The blockchain is bringing all of that. More fun experiences, being able to travel around, having my own digital assets, and no one can basically steal that from me. No one can tell me you can only use it in that game because I can use it not everywhere I want, but in many, many, many places. So that's really the big difference. Big difference.
Okay, I got it. So digital ownership of everything you're getting and winning and having in the game is a big game changer for the gaming experience.
Exactly. And not only the gaming. Let me just give you another example. You see that with some bag manufacturers. You buy a bag. Well, it's not a $100 bag. You have to go up to a certain price. But you buy a bag. They give you a certificate of ownership, which is basically a digital certificate. And if you have to prove that this is a real bag, you show your certificate. And more, if you sell your bag, I'm telling you, you will have to you transfer your certificate. This is done on the blockchain. So it's not really, in that case, just the ownership of a digital asset. It's more, I own the physical stuff, but because I also have the certificate of ownership on the blockchain, I can prove A, that it is mine, and B, that it is authentic, because you can check on the blockchain that, okay, that certificate has been issued by that company from the get-go. It's properly numbered. This is authentic. No one has messed around with it. So you really have also a lot of situations where the blockchain will become a complement to proving your ownership of a real life item, a bag, a luxury watch. Yes, you need to have like items of a certain value, because no one cares about the ownership of a $10 thing. But if you're talking, watches, bags, everything that is like some nice luxury items, more and more you will see these systems where you will be able to prove your ownership and the authenticity of the item because you have a digital certificate. Super important.
Yeah,
Big trend.
yeah, but that's the blockchain in general. But
Yeah.
when regards to the Alphaverse, what the Alphaverse is going to offer for gamers, non-gamers, what's your
Yes.
audience?
We are
Is it
more on the
only gamers
entertainment.
or
Yeah.
more?
No, we are more on the interactive entertainment side. So games, music, sports, photo, movies, everything that's basically interactive, digital and interactive entertainment. Meaning we don't do finance, right? You have a lot of DeFi projects on the blockchain. We don't do that. We are not in finance. We are not in pure tech. So we don't create like a new solution with a new wallet. This is not what we do. What we do is really interactive entertainment on the blockchain. That's really the focus of the company, because that's our expertise.
Yeah, so the blockchain on top of digital entertainment allows you to technically own the stuff that are entertaining you, that you are having in this entertaining experience.
Yeah.
And this would be an elevated experience compared to a non-blockchain experience.
Yes. For instance,
However,
yeah.
traditional digital entertainment companies could have done it. Why didn't they do it? Like, I know my kid plays on Roblox and he keeps on buying Robux, but he can never take them out. And the company could decide to allow him to take them out. Why didn't they do it themselves initially? My question is, why is there a need from the players or from this market, these participants, to own the stuff and to monetize them? Otherwise, it would have been done already in these centralized solutions with existing platforms like Roblox. Another example is my Air France miles. I can transfer them, I can use them, but I cannot sell them. And some companies contact me to buy them from me, etc. So why didn't Air France offer you to sell back your miles? And my reasoning behind it is maybe it's more profitable to not allow you to sell these, so they would have like more money to deploy a better user experience.
Mm-hmm. I think the answer is more, on their end, meaning they could do it, they could just allow that. I think they are also, I would say, trying to protect the ecosystem, because for them, let's say your miles on the balance sheet, this is a liability, right? Meaning they know that they have to one day give away free tickets to everyone who has some miles. So I think it's their management decision to say, okay, we could allow people to transfer their miles to somebody else to sell them, maybe with us taking a commission. But I believe that it's better for them not to allow that. So your miles you have two options. You have the option of using them. In any case, for them it's covered. They have the liability, or the miles do expire. In that case, this is pure profit for them. If tomorrow, so they are in their system, they are betting, or there's a proportion, or there's a statistical chance across all the users that some of us will not use these miles. So for them, there's a potential profit. if tomorrow you allow for some transfers, it means that the likelihood of people letting their miles expire will basically go down to zero, because people will always sell their miles. There will always be someone interested to buy the miles. So for the island, it's for the airlines, it is a loss. Basically, the chance of you having your miles expiring is close to zero now. So they know that they have to deliver each and every mile. So it's a lot of money. Why would you do it then? It's more like, yeah, if you want to please your customers, if you want to basically offer a better experience, if you want also to bring more customers, hey, go through Air France. You can earn some miles that you can resell down the road. I'm sure they've made the calculation, and I think the result of the calculation is, you know what, we are not going to let people transfer their miles. It's better that we keep it this way. But I don't know the details of the mile system, the economics of their mile system, but I'm sure they have done the analysis. And we can definitely see, same for Roblox. We are like, we are creating assets. Why would we let people, use them outside? Basically, take the stuff that we have created and use that stuff somewhere else. People, the other games should pay for that, right? So since it has not happened, I'm sure they've looked into this. I'm sure they've made the calculations. And yeah, the answer is we're not letting this happen. Also, just be aware that because it's video games, sometimes it's not as easy to have some interoperability for the assets. It's not that easy. It's much easier with the avatars and the apparels, because you have centralized system and universal systems on the blockchain. So sometimes it's much easier also on the blockchain. But it's at the end of the day, it's money. It's not difficult. It's money.
It's a business model, and that's how I like. My gut feeling is like these traditional players, although they could add a blockchain layer to their existing games, but because they have like ancient systems and technologies that are not built to be designed on the blockchain, it's a little bit like Tesla disrupting the whole car market. This is kind of completely new. What about, I remember like one or last year, I think, I think it was last year when Ubisoft announced they want to start building stuff on the blockchain. There was a big backlash from their customers. At least that's what I had read back then. How do you see the user experience potentially impacted negatively in terms of when you bring money to the table? It's not about the game, it's about like making money. So how do you see like the profiles of the players changing, or that will come to your Alphaverse compared to traditional players that are there not just for the asset but just for the game?
I think every time it's a different experience. So you will see more and more players coming for a new type of experience. I think today you clearly have, and I think it's going to change in the future, but you clearly have some players who are interested by a Web 2.0 experience. Others that are interested more in the collectible side of the games. So I think it's really it's just an evolution. If you just rewind back like a few years, we had these free-to-play games, and some games were still paying, so there was a transition. Everyone knew, okay, if it's free-to-play, it's not. We know that I will have to pay one day because it's just free-to-play initially, but after that, if you want to, for convenience, if you want to make more progress in the game, you always have the option to pay. So this is just a different type of experience.
It's an evolution of the business model.
It's more like, it's evolution, and also it's an addition to the business model, because the previous systems are still kept in place. You still have like games you have to pay for. You have a lot of games that are free to play. Now you have farming games, play to earn. You're going to see a lot of new models coming. I know that there are some studios working basically on slot machine and casino games where you don't pay. Okay, so what do you do? Because you're like, is it? I mean, I can't. No, you can't put any dime, but you can earn money. So how do we do it? Basically, you watch sponsored videos, and the more videos which are watched, basically the publisher, the operator earns money from the sponsors, and they split. Like say 50%, just making this up, but it's 50% for the players, 50% for the operator. So basically, I watch a video, the operator earned, let's say, $1. It's less, don't get me wrong. This $1 is split 50 cents to the operator, 50 cents for the players, and instead of giving that to me, it is put into a pot, and then I receive some free tickets to go and play some slot machines, for instance. So the chips are free. It's a casino where the chips are free. You'll see more and more of these systems. And it's not gambling because you don't pay. It's free. So it's a free win. You just have to watch videos. So you are rewarded for your time. This is how it works.
Okay. Let's talk a bit about numbers and your company's shares. First of all, you started straight away by getting listed. Why did you make this choice? Why didn't you go the traditional route of going through Series A, B, C, D, etc.?
It was easier for me because I've always managed listed companies. It's easier because when you have a currency right away, your shares. Second, you can raise money if you want. Third, if you want to strike partnerships, you can also use some of the shares to acquire businesses. And what I like about listed companies is that you don't even ask a question; you just put your numbers out there. So it's very reassuring for the partners because I don't have to explain. I just say, "What do you want to know about us?" Okay, go on the website. You'll find the financials which are audited. You'll find the news which are prepared and issued in accordance or in observance of the AMF regulation. So I find it reassuring for partners. And for us, it's also, we put a value on the company, we can raise money. I think it's more convenient.
Okay, so you listed your company, but you also listed your token recently. Can you tell us a little bit more about that?
Yes. So for us, the token is an asset of the company. So we create tokens for the biggest universities that we have. So we have the football token, which was created in September. And same thing, we work in football, we work in the football universe. We have these experiences with the clubs. Having a token makes a lot of sense. But instead of us keeping the token, I think it's better also to have the token listed. So anyone putting their hands on the token can just also, swap it, get access to some liquidity. So it makes the experience more fun. And from a corporation standpoint, it's also very interesting because when you put a value on the tokens, it is what it is. Values, they do fluctuate, but at least we have a very simple situation.
Okay, so last question about your valuation. So last time I checked, it was around 200 million. But at the same time, I was looking, just your token value was close to 100 million. So how would one look at your company and how should an investor value it?
Look, it's a long-term play, right? So the first thing to do is to look at our financials. And it is true that we are, in terms of valuation, we're trying to basically provide the tools so that investors can also look at the valuation of the assets. So you have two ways to look at us. You can look at our cash flows. It is true that we're profitable, and we have a cash flow generation that is growing, but at the same time, it's going to take time just to be multiplied by 5, 10, 20. So at the same time, you also have the asset value. Okay, we have an investment in Alphaverse. What is the value of this one? We have an investment in a holding in the football at Alphaverse, the FAV token. What is the value of this one? We have like another token, which is a crystal. We have a third token, which is light for another universe. So to help investors make their own mind, it's one of our objectives to list as fast as possible and as frequently as possible to list these tokens. So it's true that the football token has been listed. The value is in excess of 100 million. So I think this is just we're trying to give all the elements, all the criteria, and all the tools to the outside investors to make up their mind about the value of the company. But at the end of the day, it's really a long-term play. It is a long-term play on the sector. I think that blockchain is here to stay. Blockchain is not going anywhere. So for anyone who has some doubts about this, we say, what is a metaverse? What is blockchain? I would really encourage anyone just to read more about the blockchain, the potential of this technology. And blockchain is already in many, many, many sectors. So it's first and foremost an investment that we are doing in the blockchain technology. Then we have these tokens, because tokens are used to operate the blockchain program. So we have these tokens, one about football, one about another universe. So we try to put value to let people, to give some reference points to some people. And it's true that today we have a market cap which is 180 million euros. You have a token which is worth, I don't know, maybe 120 million. So the rest of the business is 60 million. You can look at it like this. For instance, that's just one example. But for the moment, it's true that because this is new, you have like points. Remember, like 20 years ago, what was the value of Amazon, right? It was burning cash. But it did make it because it had a great service. But at the time, it was very difficult to put a valuation on Amazon. Today, people are more like, okay, now I get it. They generate cash. They are more a stable business and a more mature business. So I think we are clearly in a type of comparable situation. I'm not saying we're Amazon, don't get me wrong. But I think you have to look today in terms of valuation at different, reference points: cash flow generation, profitability, number of users, turnover, value of some assets. And just to make up your mind. Things would not necessarily make sense initially because, again, we're a growing business. We're a new business growing. And we're not yet on a kind of smooth ride. We're still we're moving by big, big levels, right? Boom, boom. It's not a smooth ride. It's really by progression. So I think in terms of valuation, you have to look at all these data points. But the most important thing is, I see some people telling me, oh, yeah, but, look at the tokens, they're going down. Look at the NFTs, they're going down. So blockchain is basically dead. I think it would have been a mistake to stop investing in the internet technology in March 2000 just because the market had crashed. For me, you have to be careful, of course, but that's really, for me, one of the biggest lessons of the past 20 years is that, okay, you're going to have some failure in the internet business, but basically the internet technology was here to stay. And I think this is the same today with blockchain. It's here to stay. Yes, you're going to have some tokens, some NFTs are going up, going down, but don't look at the NFTs, don't look at the tokens. Just look at the blockchain technology and the potential. And this is, the most important thing to put a value on a company. That's how I look at it.
Yeah, that's a very good example, actually, you gave. I always, when in doubt, I remind always myself about my own experience. I bought Amazon on the IPO day, and then it went up, and then it went down. I sold it, and every day passes, I bite my fingers for having sold it too early because I stopped believing in the internet revolution. And this time around, I'm holding to all my tokens to dear life. Thanks a lot,
Thank you.
Fred,
Thanks
for
so
your
much.
time and for your insights. It was a very interesting talk.
Yeah.
I'm going to share with my audience this discussion and the links to your Alphaverse and your Alpha token. And I hope to see you next time on the show to discuss new updates from your Alphaverse.
So much. Thanks for having me. Thank you.